Welcome back. This is KTN News Desk. Today, Africa marks the African Day on Anti-Corruption, a day which seeks to raise awareness on graft and its negative impact on the society. But does Kenya have anything to celebrate, given the many cases of corruption that are currently under investigation? On News Desk today, we look at the burden of graft, and of course, we begin with the billions of shillings that have been lost to graft. But first, let's speak to our reporter, Shadrach Miti, who is now joining us live from Ufungamano House, and he will be speaking to one of the anti-graft crusaders who are present in that particular faction. Shadrach, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, Akisa. Well, since morning, there has been a multi-sectoral forum taking place here to Ufungamano, all aimed at discussing the effects of corruption in the country. Remember, this is a day that is commemorated to look at corruption issues within the continent of Africa. And so today's event comes at a time when Kenya is facing a lot of challenges revolving around fight against corruption. Billions of shillings have been reported lost, and up to now, no trace of even a single shilling has been done. And so even as the government continues to grapple with the matter of corruption, we want to get a feel from the anti-corruption crusaders and let them just tell us from where they sit. Where is Kenya? Where does Kenya stand insofar as fight against corruption is concerned?
To be honest, Kenya does not have a stand in the fight against corruption, and we prefer not to use the word corruption. We need to change how we address this issue. We are calling it what it is. It is theft, the theft of public funds. So when we use the word corruption, what happens is even that mama mboga who is selling tomatoes, when you tell them corruption, they will not understand it. Culturally, we don't even have that word. We can't even have, in your own language, a word to describe, to translate into corruption. But everybody understands who a thief is. Everybody understands what theft is. And today being Africa Anti-Corruption Day, we are using this opportunity as another call to action for Kenyans to take this war against this theft personally, because it affects us. They're killing our future. They're killing our children. They're killing the future of the youth. Stealing and taking this money, putting it in gunny bags, buying choppers with it, buying grand homes with it. Where else, what is happening to our youth, what is happening to our health sector, what is happening to our education system. So we want every person to feel the need to rise. Stop feeling helpless. You are not helpless. You will feel helpless when you don't do something about it. But if you rise and say enough is enough, it will send a message to these thieves that we are watching and we can't take it anymore. Every single time we hear 1 billion is missing, hundreds of millions are missing. Annually, we are talking about 600 billion missing, according to the Auditor General. What can that money do for us? What can it do to our healthcare? What can it do to us as a common mwananchi if that money was utilized as it should be utilized? So we need to simplify this fight. We need to stop these thieves, and that is why also this whole campaign of Stop These Thieves is alive, even online, where we are telling people, let's not use these grand words. Let's call them who they are. Let's name them by name. We know who they are. Okay, there's a clip actually going round right now where there's an MCA who is joking in a public forum and saying that they like the deputy president who is their thief, because once he steals, he shares with them because he bought them a school bus, and the crowd clapped. And that is horrifying, that they can be able to say, afadhali si wanamuita mwizi, huyu mwizi ni mwizi wetu, afadhali mwizi wetu. We need to get to a point as Kenyans and understand how dangerous such rhetoric is, and that the money that is being stolen and being given back to you in piecemeal is not being shared. If it was not being stolen, what would it do for you as a community where you are?
Now, we've seen efforts being done by the government, the Auditor General report being released, and at least a few weeks ago we saw the Director of Public Prosecution instigating prosecution against people who have been adversely mentioned on corruption matters, and even the president's stand. Do you translate that as renewed efforts to fight corruption, or from where you stand? How do you describe that?
For us, until somebody is in jail, it is public relations. We had this whole NYS drama where they were arrested and they were taken, to the police cells in Land Rovers and Range Rovers and beautiful vehicles and all that. But that was all for me a show. If I see that PS, that CS, serving a jail term, then I will understand that this is not just public relations, that they're actually doing something about it. But when we have a presidency that feels the need to salvage their legacy, PR is part of this government's modus operandi. We have seen them use PR over and over again on matters of, national interest. So for us, and from where I stand as an individual, it is just public relations until we see somebody actually serve a jail term for it. And we don't want the small people. We want it to go right to his office, because corruption and the theft we're talking about begins in his office. It is right under his nose. Yes.
So how does Kenya rank regionally against other countries like Uganda, Tanzania, and Rwanda?
In the last statistics that were released, Rwanda was first when it came to less corruption. Then Kenya ranked about third, and then we had Uganda and we had Burundi. So really, being third is, and it's only regional. But if you look at the corruption index internationally, we are not doing well at all. We rank among the least, the most corrupt countries in the world.
Thank you very much. Akisa, that is Wanjeri Nderu, one of the anti-graft crusaders, who is among the multi-sectoral leaders meeting here in a forum aimed at discussing matters anti-corruption, even as the country grapples with the same issue, for hoping that maybe in the near future it will be a thing of the past. Back to you, Akisa.
Shadrach, thank you. That is a function we'll continue to go to periodically during the program to just see some of the conversations that are ongoing there as Kenya joins Africa in marking the African